So now we're up and running with Platform 9. We've created virtual machines and networks and played with SSH keys and OpenStack images. So at this point, we're ready to create new users to start consuming our cloud. And we want to put those users inside of tenants. So let's go ahead and first create a new tenant. And in our new tenant here, we do have a VM lease policy project that we've just open sourced and given back to the OpenStack community. But what it'll do is it will, for your developers that are constantly forgetting to delete their VMs after running automated tests, it will clean that up for them after a few days. So maybe you have a 3-day test period, or maybe you have a 14-day test period. It'd be up to you, or you can choose not to use it. And let's go ahead and call this the dev team. That's going to be the name of our new project here. And we can choose to set a quota for this team. So that quota can consist of cores, RAM, storage, whatever you like. I don't normally like creating unlimited quotas, so we'll also limit the block storage utilization. So we'll say 100 gigs of block storage, maybe 10 volumes, and 5 snapshots. And then they can also create some network objects, such as networks and routers and subnets, floating IP addresses, what have you. And then you can also set these resources globally. So if you have another data center spread across the globe, you can go ahead and assign that what resources a tenant has per environment. So right now we'll just work with the US East KVM region, but we do have a US West VMware region that I'll be showing you how to get VMware up and running in another set of videos. If you did have some private networks here and we only have our public net, you can assign that here, but right now we have our external network. And if you have different flavors, right, small, medium, large, extra large, maybe you have a reason that you only want certain users to use certain sizes, or maybe you have some host aggregates that we haven't covered yet, created and mapped to flavors that you want to assign to users. You can do that as well. And we'll leave me as the administrator for this project and go ahead and create it. So that's great. Now we have a new tenant, dev team. So let's add a user. So let's create a new user for OpenStack. We'll call this, this is our dev user, so we'll call this dev user at platform9.com. And username is dev user, and we'll set a password for him or her. And we'll make them a self-service user on the dev team. Okay. So we just created that. So that's great. But before we do that, let's also create the dev user their own network. So we'll come over here and we'll switch to the dev team. And let's create a new network. And we'll call this DevNet. And the subnet will be dev subnet. And we'll create them a 10.0.0.1.0/24. And we'll use that same CIDR. .1. And again, we'll use 8.8.8.8, 8.8.4.4. And maybe we want them segregated, so we'll create them their own router. Let's create a new router for the dev team. So we'll call this dev router and assign that to the external network. And we'll grab that dev router and attach it to the dev network. Great. So good, we're in good shape here. Let's go ahead and log out. And let's log in using that dev user. Alright, I'm logged in here as a basic user. You notice I'm missing quite a few admin options on the left. My infrastructure view is gone, my tenants and users view is gone. I can still see each region that I have available to me, but I only have access to the dev team. And then I could see my quota here, how much I've consumed. So I haven't consumed anything, but I do have some numbers here that I'm limited to. I could see that the external network, since that's public, and then I have my dev team network, my DevNet, and I have my router. I don't have that security group that we created before because I'm a self-service user. So maybe I want to create a security group here. We'll call this web group, and maybe my web servers will have a few different rules. We'll allow port 22, port 80, and port 443, and all ICMP traffic. These will all be allowed from everywhere. Okay. All right, and let's copy that. And let's give this a description. Yeah, it's a good description right there. Allow SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, and ICMP from anywhere. All right. Great. So now I can come in here, and as a self-service user, I can create any instances that I want. We can have them be small, DevNet. We can use that web group SSH. Again, I don't have an SSH key because I'm a new user. I haven't uploaded that yet. And we'll call this web server. And you know what? I want to create 2 web servers this time. Again, we'll use Cloud.net. We'll customize that exact same script that sets the password, has the password never expire, and allows using that password over SSH, and runs a command which shells out and echoes hello world from PF9 into a text file. And let's go ahead and create those instances. So there we go. We created 2 instances, and those are building right now as we speak. While those are building, let me create 2 floating IPs. We'll create a new floating IP address from the external network and create, and a new floating IP from the external network and create. So one instance is finished building, so that's good, and the other one just finished as well. Great. So we have these 2 instances, and we can click on them and open up their console. And you can see they're booting up here. So this console does work before the system's booted in case it gets in a hung state. So great. And now let's assign that floating IP address. We'll assign a floating IP of we'll assign .9 to web01. And let's assign a floating IP of .10 to web02. All right. So what we've done is we've created 2 web instances, assigned some floating IP addresses, and allowed them to connect to the web group. So even self-service users can create their own instances and connect to them just fine. So not a problem there. And so that's probably where we're going to leave these for now. In the next few videos, I will show you how to set up VMware.